So, first race, Formula One, Melbourne, Albert Park, 2019. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. And really, no one saw where Bottas was going. He just disappeared up the road. I think that was probably the best drive I've ever seen from Valtteri Bottas, considering last year when it seemed like, well, I thought he was really falling off the back. Really sort of Lewis was stamping his authority all over that team. Not today. Today was a different Bottas. It may even be a different Bottas. It could have been a clone, for all I know. Fantastic start, amazing getaway. That really, I mean, Hamilton's start wasn't that bad. I didn't see that much wrong with it. But Bottas nailed it, pulled away, and from the second stint onwards, just pulled away and away and away. Yeah, impressive. And I think if I was Lewis, and that's the kind of performance that Bottas is going to be putting in, worrying, really. Also need to be worried, of course, Ferrari. Where the pace went from testing, I have no idea. That up and down the grid, it seemed to me, after winter testing, the thought was that Ferrari had this one nailed down, that they may as well just pull them into the victory circle, top two places, done and dusted, deal done. But no, their pace was nowhere. I mean, they were literally nowhere, all at sea. I mean, yeah, you could say they were... see, with Verstappen's pace, you could even say they were the third best team. So yeah, there's lots of people behind them, but they were nowhere near the front, nowhere near where they want to be, and need to be, really. Vettel this year, I think, if he doesn't win the championship this year, I think he's got to seriously start looking at his options to move, because he can't waste his career year after year after year not winning the championship again. That's got to seriously, well, dent his confidence probably, and also just got to be so frustrating knowing what he could do in a faster car. Honda, fantastic with Red Bull. I say that with a bit of a kind of, I'm not sure how happy I am, because as an Alonso/McLaren supporter, I was watching the Honda blow up and up and up and up again and again and again, and now it's being made to work with Red Bull. So I'd say on the whole, I'm very pleased for Max. I think Max is very good for Formula One, and it's great to have him able to compete still with the Honda. I was concerned about people see him as the future of Formula One, and that if the future was somehow going to be sidetracked for a few years by a poor Honda engine, then that was going to be very bad for Formula One. So I'm glad to see him there. Just a tiny little piece of me is a bit sort of, why couldn't the Honda work before, kind of thing. McLaren, moving on to McLaren, hard to know how to describe their performance, really. I would say very impressed with Lando Norris, very impressed. I think that he showed great potential. I'm jumping ship a bit here. That's not to sort of say too much negative about George Russell, because as the two new Brits, Lando was always the one with the best opportunity to deliver something. So, yeah, but he did very well. Very good to get into Q3, and during the race, I thought he was very, very calm when he was behind Giovinazzi. I almost forgot then, Giovinazzi. And yeah, he didn't show the kind of rookie impetuousness that he might have done. So that was very, very good. Clean move, clean race, really, just not the kind of pace that McLaren would have hoped. Although, as they did say themselves, it's going to be a very tight midfield, and the race did show that. And sometimes they'll be at the front, sometimes at the back, sometimes in the middle, sometimes nearer the front. You get the idea. Somewhere in the midfield battle. Sainz, disappointing, very disappointing for him, and hopefully not a sign of things to come. It's a major component failure, which is not great. But fingers crossed that after all the miles they did in testing, there was no indication that was going to be a problem, so perhaps it's a one-off. Fingers crossed. Fingers firmly crossed. It's a one-off. Alfa Romeo, yeah, hard to write, nothing happened that was worth writing home about, really. Raikkonen performed well in qualifying. I thought he did pretty well. Race pace not so great. I think it was an eighth place finish, wasn't it? Eighth place, something like that. So yeah, I'd say there were things to be satisfied with, but overall, I think Raikkonen would want more, and they will hopefully deliver more now that they've got him to sort of lead the team. Giovinazzi, well, because of the tyre strategy, he was sort of a rolling roadblock for quite a lot of the race, but he didn't do anything sort of crazy. He defended well. You could see towards the end that his tyres had gone way off, so he was really just defending for all he was worth. But he did defend cleanly and drove perfectly well. Other things to mention, I thought that the new pit stop predictor graphics were quite nice. I have to admit, I didn't understand them at first. I was sort of like, what does that mean? Does that mean? I don't know. But then I got it, and yeah, that is actually quite a nice little graphic, giving you an idea of where they're going to come out should they stop now, based on, I suppose, an average pit stop time. Yeah, I like that. Also, some of the other graphics around were quite good. The sort of countdown towards the 1,000th race in China, that was nice. Other things to mention, it seemed like the new aero package seemed to make it easier to follow, I have to say. The cars, certainly in that midfield dice, were able to get closer without the wake off the back of the other car affecting it too much. So that was good. Nothing like Formula E close, but then those are a sort of a spec chassis, so that's, it's not going to be the same. But yeah, I would say there was reason to be positive there, although there wasn't the kind of dicing that I would hope to see. But of course, the problem there is when you get the cars in a train, yes, they can follow, but of course that means they have access, each of them, to the DRS. So when one uses the DRS, pulls ahead, but the car that he's trying to get ahead of also has the DRS from the car in front of him. So it's not quite so easy to overtake. So anything else I've written down here? I tried to do this several times without writing things down, but in the end I just ummed a lot, as I probably still am. The tyres were easier to follow. I thought it was nicer to have just the 3 compounds. That was much better. So overall, I would say if I had to rank the drivers for their driving, Bottas, I think a clear 10. I mean, he couldn't have done anything better there at all. That was pretty much the perfect performance from Valtteri. I don't think he's ever driven a better race than that. A more consistent race, and the fact that he was also keen to get the fastest lap point, of course. The fastest lap point I thought was actually quite good, because towards the end it did actually spice things up and give the driver something to aim for. So yeah, that was very good. Hamilton, a bit off colour, I would say. Not quite the kind of performance that we're used to seeing. He can get a little bit negative if things aren't going perfectly well. I would say an 8 probably. Verstappen, very good. I would say 9.5 perhaps. Vettel, by his high standards, pretty poor, and 7. I think 7 for him. And Leclerc, I think like Verstappen, I like the raciness of Leclerc, so I'll give him a 9, because, and also I think this is worth mentioning, although it'll be mentioned many times, I'm sure, the team orders at Ferrari, I think it's not a surprise. Ferrari have got form, certainly, so it's not a thing that you're going to think, my God, Ferrari have done that. No, they can't. Yes, they can. They've done it loads of times in the past with previous drivers. Schumacher being the obvious example, but Alonso, Massa, the Alonso is faster than you, gate. It's a shame that they're doing it so early, but if that's the way they work, that's the way they work. I think Leclerc did what he could. He showed that he was faster, showed he was definitely faster, and had to just settle in the end for what they told him to do. I really wish that we could see a Ferrari team that wasn't sort of tainted by that, because for me, I like teammates to be able to race. They're in the same equipment, theoretically, so they should be their closest competitors. And I think it spoils it for me. And I've never been able to understand how a driver in that situation, who is the de facto number one, gets the same kind of pleasure or satisfaction from winning when they know that their teammate is, almost sort of contractually obliged to stay behind them. For me, that would be very. If that was me, I would always feel like I'd been given something rather than having achieved something, certainly against my teammates. So it wasn't a surprise, unfortunately, and I think Leclerc showed that he was faster and he should have been able to get by, and I think would have been able to get by. But, and I mean, just to finish the point, Ferrari will say, and I think they have said, that there was no point battling over fourth place, and risking the cars going off. Well, that's fine. Yeah, okay. But reverse those positions, make it so that Leclerc is in front and Vettel is chasing him down by sort of 7/10 a lap. I don't see Ferrari telling Vettel to hang back and just hold position. No, the message will go to Leclerc, let Vettel by, Vettel is faster than you. So it's not the same at all. I thought, they dodged the question a bit during the press conference before the race. So yeah, overall, I would say I was a pretty good race. Not one that I fell asleep through, so it was good. And roll on the next one. I think it's also worth saying, as again, has been mentioned many times, a tragic loss of Charlie Whiting, which I think it doesn't overshadow the event, because although it's a sad thing, I think that there's a lot to sort of celebrate in his life that was dedicated to Formula One, really. And I think that, I think that race should be dedicated to him, and he'll leave big shoes to fill, certainly. But Formula One rolls on, and next time out, we'll see whether Bottas keeps up the pace and manages to extend his lead in the championship over teammate Hamilton, and we'll see whether Ferrari managed to catch up. And I'll try and do another one of these then. And miraculously, I managed to speak for 12 minutes.